Joining us, I'm Greg Glover.
And I'm Cindy Sexton. You may remember the case of a Signal Mountain woman who disappeared more than 14 years ago. Gail Palmgren was found dead months later in what police say was a car crash over the side of Signal Mountain.
The headline tonight, her husband, who was under intense public scrutiny at the time of her disappearance, was recently killed in a car crash in South Alabama. A reminder, he was never a suspect and never charged. Local 3's Grace Kramer joins us with more. Grace.
I spoke with a woman who says that she saw that crash yesterday evening. She wants to remain anonymous. However, she tells me she called 911 right away. She recounts the moments leading up to it and the moment she learned who that driver was. Alabama law enforcement is investigating a fatal crash in Deatsville on Wednesday night, more than 200 miles away from Chattanooga. Troopers tell me that Matthew Palmgren was ejected out of a truck on Highway 111 shortly before 6 o'clock when his truck left the road and flipped.
And he was in the ditch between one house driveway and the other, parallel to the road. And he accelerated and then he hit the second driveway, which was concrete. So he went up airborne into the air.
A woman who's lived in that area her entire life tells me she called 911 the moment she and her children saw it all happen.
Being former law enforcement, I just explained that we had obviously I was speaking in 10 codes, police jargon, whatnot. I explained that we had a single vehicle crash at that location.
She says she stayed on scene while first responders worked to help Palmgren, but he was pronounced dead. Troopers tell me he was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash. The witness says she had heard of Palmgren before, but did not know who he was and did not know his story.
I knew that the name sounded familiar, but I couldn't figure out who or why. And then obviously I get on social media.
Matthew Palmgren was married to Gail Palmgren, who went missing in May of 2011 from their home on Signal Mountain. Records obtained by Local 3 News say police in Signal Mountain were called out to the couple's home 3 different times for reports of domestic disorder. After Gail was reported missing, public scrutiny grew against Matthew as close friends of Gail spoke out about their relationship. 7 months later, the mystery of her disappearance was solved. Hamilton County deputies found Gail's body in her crashed Jeep over the side of the mountain near East Brow Road. Investigators believed her death was an accident and say she was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash. Matthew was never labeled a suspect or a person of interest by police.
All I can say is I hope he's at peace, and I hope everybody finds the peace that they need in all the tragedy that has happened throughout his life.
Now, since Gail's death, Matthew left the state of Tennessee and was living in Alabama. His death is still being investigated tonight. We have more on our website about the disappearance and death of Gail Palmgren so many years ago. Just head over to local3news.com.
Grace, thank you. A 17-year-old girl's